Good morning. It's Quinn. Today is Friday at 10, and we are ready for some free motion. So today's plan, there's always more than just the design itself. We always want to give you more. And so today what we're doing is an exercise in scalability. So this is something that you can do that will help you practice control, to have better control over your designs, and the secondary feature is it's going to help you practice scalability. So the first thing that we're doing is we have a grid. So this is the design right there. That's what we're doing. And again, I want to stress, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is an opportunity for you to get towards perfection, but it doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. So hi Molly, hi Pacola, hi Emma, thank you guys so much. Hi Susan, glad to have you guys here, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with me. So I have to be done by 10:30 because I have class at 11, so we better get going. Want to show you real quick a way to do this that is going to be helpful and fast is to use a pounceable grid. So this is full line stencils. This is a laser grid, and pounce is chalk essentially. So when you get it, let's see if we can move out just a little bit so we can see better. Oh, there you go. Can you see it? So this pad right here, you're going to fill this reservoir with chalk. The chalk typically comes in a bag. Let's see if I can find the bag. Like this. You're going to, when you first get it, you will fill up the bag right in here, and you're going to put this on, and you're going to close this right here. Ooh, see that? Ooh. And bang the tar out of it a bunch of times. Bang, 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 bang. Right? Until you have chalk in the basin. So the chalk in the basin tells you that there's enough chalk on this pad, a lot of chalk on this pad. All right, let me scoop this over. All right, let's make sure that we can see everything here. So can you let me know if your sound is good and everything like that? I'm going to adjust one thing real quick. There we go. Now I can see what you're seeing so that I can know if everything's good. Okay, here we go. Hi, Miss Margaret, partner in crime. Okay, I've just got some fabric on there. I just want to show you. With the pounce, you're going to hold your stencil in place, and you're just going to gently swipe across it. If you are worried that you don't have enough, just set that down. Just gently lift this up and just look under there. And if you need a little more before you shift anything, you could swipe again. But it's surprising how efficient that these chalk pouncers are. So they're not pounce, 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 they're swipe, swipe. The pouncing part is only when you're loading the chalk, right? So this way you get a really nice grid, super fast, super easy, right? And then obviously the chalk will kind of load up on your stencil. You can just brush that off or vacuum it, whatever you want to do. Okay, let's move on. So I did a little extra marking on here. So it's a little bit busy, but I'll explain it. We're going to start over here just to kind of get you the basic idea. And what we're doing is a very, very simple pattern, okay? Just want you to be able to practice very simple movements, nothing super complicated, and that's the benefit of this experiment that we're going to do is you don't have to worry about if it's perfect, it's not complicated. All you're going to do is as you move down the line, so let's get our camera right in line for you before we start sewing. All right, let's see. Okay, you can see really good now. We're going to go right down this reference line, okay? And we'll be able to come right back to this spot. Right at this intersection, I'm looking forward to this intersection. So each time as I go, it's an S curve, and all I'm going to do is aim for that intersection. Right here, my foot is the spacing guide, so just gently grade yourself. Oh, I went a little crazy there. That's okay, we'll just go with it. I was talking and then I messed up. We'll fix it later. Okay, so here, coming right into there. Trying not to go super deep. So the foot is a really great guideline right here to help get you where you want to go. Just a nice, gentle curve. And you don't have to go fast. It's about control. Okay? And if you get a lot of control, you can go faster later. Okay, so there's our end. So let me show you where we're at. So does that look cute? I mean, it's not that hard. It's pretty gentle. It's pretty smooth. Okay, now here's the next tricky part. You want to come back and you need to cross on this line wherever the thread is. So for example, see right here how I missed the intersection just slightly? When I come back, I still want to cross on this line. Okay, I want to correct a little bit if I can. So this is the not perfect part, you know, because we're human, we're not a robot. Okay, so try to cross. And the other thing is don't stop in the middle of your curve. Go to this intersection and stop there. Because what happens is the curve is going to be smooth unless we stop in the middle. Like right here, don't stop there. If I need to rest, right there. Because all the threads are going to come together in those spots. And then just keep on going, nice and easy. Now this thread is designed today for you to be able to see really well. It's nice contrasting thread, but I have a different color on the back. Okay, so I'm right at the base. Here I can hop over to the next row. Okay, so I don't want to cut into that, so I might stitch a few stitches on the previous one and then move my arc. So I'll show you right here. We don't want to cut into this right here, so we're just going to try to skirt along a few stitches right there, and then we'll get down to this next line. So I think we need one more stitch to get in there. There we go. Same thing. So you're practicing being smooth, gauging the distance with your foot, stopping at the intersection. If my hands get too far out here, I'm going to bring them in closer, and then nice and flat. And I'm not worried about if they're perfectly the same size. I can't worry about that. It's too hard. Okay? You'll get there. You'll get better. But you can see right now, mine are not perfectly the same size. They're not even perfect, period. But it's okay. Let me show you what happens when we get them all done. It'll all work out. Just work on being smooth. That's really just the key. If you can do that, try to get back to that intersection, then everything's going to work out. Okay, we'll close it right there, and then we want to take a few out and come back to that next row. So this is the travel path right now for this. I can do all of these rows completely continuously, and then I just keep going. So we'll try to go a little faster so we can give you a little rhythm. So again, my hands are really extended here, so I gotta choke up a little bit and get closer. Can you go backwards? Yes, you should go backwards. You should practice that going backwards as well. I'm not as good at going backwards, but that's okay. That's the only way you're gonna get any better is if you practice it. Okay, so skirt to the next row, and then off we go. So you can see that this is really rhythmic, super relaxing. Okay, and let's get over to our next row. I think this is the last one. We'll just do this last one because the corner is kind of, well, maybe we'll do the corner so you can see how we can travel around that. Connect it, and then just come over. Okay, here, we'll just do one, and back. Okay, and now right here, we can start going this way. And we'll stop here. We'll leave this as a spacer. When we maybe we want to try to come down this row right here and get these done. And then we can cross over on this line. That would be a little bit better continuous path, I think, because we've got these all finished up here. So we'll do this one. And let's see if we can get over there. Okay. So let's just kind of go all the way down. Now this is a lot trickier, I think, right here. Okay, let me show you. Here, it's even more important that we are controlling our curve, because before there was nothing there, but now we really need to hit the intersections. So let me show you right here. If I miss, I don't care what the chalk is doing anymore. That is the intersection now. So as I come out and around, I really have to watch that I'm getting to the intersection. So here, even going a little bit slower is better, right? And then we can just go backwards, just like we did before. Really trying to get right into those intersections. Because what is going to show, it's not going to show if our curve is a little wonky. It's going to really show if we miss the intersection. So if I need to take a few stitches in the previous curve and then get out of that little dip, really control right there for that arc. So that's the benefit of learning this method, is you're going to see that you're going to have a lot of practice really controlling where you get to. So that's the goal of it, is to really control everything. You're controlling it. And I think this is a good size, because it's not so tiny that you're, having to make everything micro. It's a good size to use for most quilts. This is about a 1-inch grid. If you use something really small, it's easy to hide everything, but it's not something that you would really do when you're on a quilt. So can you see our design is starting to form? So as we go back down, really making sure that we're going to hit our intersection. Okay, and then trying to get a little bit of that arc right there to get to the next one. And then we've got this next row, so same thing. I think we'll take one stitch over. Get into your intersection. That's really the key right there, is looking through your foot. And of course, if you have a free motion foot, you can use that as well. This will also work. The reason I like this is I can really gauge the distance with my ruler foot, so I use that a lot. All right, so let's see real quick. Do we have any questions? Yeah, and this is super classic. And you're not making big movements, right? You're just using a very light touch with your fingers. If your quilt is heavier, I'm fine with cinching up on it. What you can do is, as you choke up, you want this area flat, so you can kind of go like this. Okay, if you need a little more pull to hold everything in place, grip a little wide like this, but then keep your stitch area with your fingers, keep this flat. So this is kind of like your hoop right there, so that your working area will stay flat. Let's see, what else is on here? Hello, Anne. Hello, Nan. Hello, Pam. Oh, I'm glad that the picture's good. That's great. We are always trying that. I'm using a mic now. Thank you for one of our people that recommended that, so I hope that's better for you. And any questions so far? Yes, right. Linda got it. I'm going to read her comment. She says, what stood out in the beginning as a different curve disappears as you work. Got to try this now without so much apprehension. Yes, and that's just it. I mean, I think we just expect so much perfection right away, but I like this design because, we all have fears that it's not going to work out. I'm no different. And I remember doing this the first time, and I was like, doesn't look so bad, So the other thing about it is, let's go ahead and we'll just finish this one half, and then we'll go to the other side. I'm gonna flip it over because this thread, as I said, is super high contrast, right? So I just have to be careful as I connect this one right here, getting over to here. Well, that one's not as pretty as I'd like, but that's okay. That's the whole thing here, is realizing that it doesn't have to be perfect, it's still gonna work out. I think one of the things that I find interesting is, there are some amazing quilters out there. I'm not gonna put anybody down. We look at their work, but if you go up really, really, really close, they're not a robot. They're not magic. It's not like every single arc is precisely exactly the same. It is art and it is handwork. So let's go ahead and tack it off, and I'm going to go to the other side in just a minute. So I'm going to show you the different scale that we have over on this other side real quick. All right. So I'm going to flip it over. I like to always show different colors, right? So let's see if we can get a little shadow on that so that you can see that a little better. Hang on just a second. Let me use some magic lighting from my, oh, it's really bright there. Here, let's turn some lights off. Maybe that'll help. Give you some shadow on there. Oh, there we go. That's way better. Okay, so let's see what we can see, right? So I put some shadow on it, and now can you see that texture that we've created? So let's see if we can, it is tricky to give you that view with this same color. Let me see if I can pop it this way. Oh, there we go. Right? Doesn't that look awesome? So if you're using a high contrast thread, it's gonna show every bobble. But if you're just looking for texture, this is excellent. You can totally do this, and it's not going to matter if yours are not perfectly the same size, because they aren't, and they're not even perfectly curved. This one looks like a little teardrop right there. But this is super fun. It's very relaxing, and the more you do it, the better you will get at it. So this is very freeing to know that you can use a low contrast thread, and it's going to be great. This is actually 100 weight. This is Invisifil thread on this, and it is very much matching. And of course, I really needed to match my tension to get that best look. But here you get a lot of just that lift, that tension, that bi-level, which we all love. And here it still looks good. Let's flip that back. It still looks good. It's a little bit more notable that, the little places are wonky, right? But you still get that. You still get that round orange peel look as long as you hit the intersections. So go ahead and try that. And I'm going to move to this other area. So this is the scalability exercise. So here, this is the box, right? And I split it, but not both directions. And there's a little reason for that. And over here, I split it both directions. Because what I'm going to do is show you the micro path with markings. And then I'm going to have you figure it out over here without markings. So let's go ahead and try it. And we'll kind of work this way initially. So I guess I'll turn it this way for visibility. So this is our little box right there, and what we're going to do is we're going to micro this a little bit and make it smaller. And what you're going to do is, so on the first row, we're just, following whatever's over here. So if this one right here, he would be outside the box, you're going to follow it. So this one, travel, this one, travel, this one. So we're doing every line here, and these are going to be a lot smaller. So this is a microfill, something that you can use when you have like big main motifs and you really just need some textural fill that can just hide. But it gives a lot of value in terms of that. Let's get my needle right there. So here again, I'm copying this one, which would be outside this line. So I'm just going to stitch down a little bit till I get to that middle spot, and then I'm going to follow it. So in order to do this, you maybe want to stitch a little bit faster. These are small fills, so if I take 10 stitches per inch, I'm not going to get very much volume of stitch for any of these. Okay, so here's where we have to practice. So we don't have our midline now. So now I have to go halfway, right? So I'm practicing visual awareness halfway, and then arc over, and halfway, and arc over, and halfway, and arc over. Okay, so at this point, if we were done, I mean, we don't have to do the whole thing, we'll just scoot over. I'm going to continue with that same pattern at this point. So just to give you the visual, make sure that you guys can see what we're doing. I won't do it right there, but I'll do it over here. This is the S curve right here now, okay? So we have just the partial on this side because this is the boundary right there. But now we're going to be doing this. And we're estimating what is the middle of each of these boxes, and that's part of the visual practice right there. So you got to go a little bit faster so you're looking out in front of you to get to the intersection. So this S curve is as one shape. Okay, don't make too many of them and not too deep either. Stop at the S curve if you need to take a break. So you're judging the middle distance, trying to get right to the center. So there's a lot of visual training happening with this little practice. Okay, now, just like we did before, we have to go back, right? So let's see where I'm at. Am I in the middle? I guess I didn't go all the way. Okay, so I need to try to get the cross a little cleaner right there. So keeping it nice and narrow. But this is, again, all about control. You want to cross right in the middle. When you get down to the end, then you can go up to the next line. So again, it's very shallow there. So we want to try to keep these maybe even a little shallower. So I'll work on that this time. So now we can just do both. We're going to do both sides. So it doesn't really matter. Nice and shallow. Hit it in the middle. Okay, adjust my hand position. So here I'm having to really grade that curve to come up and down a lot more quickly. So that's the practice part of this. Okay, and then we go back. So you can see there's my little wiggly line. It doesn't look too bad. Try to look for your intersections each time, right where the curve is changing. Keep the sound of your machine nice and even. All right, so right now we've got our two lines, and let's see, do we need another one? I think we need one more to show the shape. So we'll do one more, maybe we'll do a little less so we can get further faster. Touch the center, there's the anchor. Going backwards, trying to really estimate as you're going to get yourself right back to the middle and to the cross. Okay, so I think this is enough for us to maybe start going this way. So I'm going to come up halfway here. And right there, we want to come into the middle. So we're going to go that way. And let me show you how small these are. So here's my line. That's what I'm going to try to be tracking visually right here is what you're tracking. Okay? So I've got to come in with a little arc. Come to this one and this one. And come over. So as I said, these are real small, so maybe we'll make our stitches a little tighter by going a little bit faster. Controlling, getting right into your little intersection right there, to the middle. Here's our line again. Touch. Halfway. Connect. And this will be the last one. We'll just stop here. So if I was going to do this on my project, I think I would want to use a really fine thread to make it this small. So this right now is actually 40 weight right now, which I think is too bulky for this small of a design. But on the back, we have that 100 weight, so I'm going to show you that on the back real quick. So thread matters, color matters, weight matters, durability matters. Make sure you're picking something that is working well for the scale of the design, for the style, for your skill level. So let's flip it over. So you're going to get that texture there that's going to, well, it's kind of hard. I should have ditched it on that side, but here, I think you can see it like right there at the bottom. You can kind of see the look right there. I think when it blends in, sometimes it's hard to see. But there are small grids that would allow you to practice that. And that makes a really great microfill that is pretty freeing. You don't need like a template or a stencil. You can just do a curvy line and you'll get better at making that really round as you go. And this is just such a cute design. Super classic, and it adds great texture. All right, so let's see if we have any questions. All right. Yeah, I think the little ones are definitely harder because you have to change direction so much more quickly. That's why I think that this is a good size. I think that this is something you could actually use in the quilt that is very reasonable, and there's a lot of 1-inch grids around. I will tell you that when you start getting a bigger and bigger grid, I think it is harder. I think that makes it even more of a challenge because it starts really, you have to stretch your arc so much more, and if you get it really big, then you don't get to see this pretty circle if you're off. About 1.5-inch grid is probably about as big as I would want to scale this without trying to maybe put some rulers on it to get really, really clean lines. So the stencil grid that I used is a diagonal 1-inch stencil from Full Line Stencils. It's a laser cut stencil, but there's lots of stencils around. You can use certainly whatever size that you wanted. So Bonnie, for years I cursed free motion for a long time. Once you find that rhythm, though, it gets easier. I look at some of that old pieces that I still have, and I'm just like, oh, why was that so hard? So it definitely, once you can find your rhythm of control, I think that if you put your machine at half speed and try to keep your speed the same, then you can control other factors because the speed isn't changing. So I'll do a little demo out here of what I'm talking about with that. So let's put our speed all the way up high, super high, right? Put our needle down. Okay, I can only sew as fast as I can, right? If the machine has got a really loud whiny sound, I can't do it. My heart rate just went up, my blood pressure went up, I can't do it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put it about half speed on my machine. So, that's doable. I would say that if I'm gonna press the gas all the way, let's even go down a little bit. Maybe okay, right there. When I listen to that sound, to me, that is the machine lullaby. I can move, I can control it, I can create with that. I don't have to worry that it's gonna outrun me and I'm gonna just go crazy. Oh, I'm on the edge, darn it. It doesn't like that. Okay, and if I'm doing curves, I might pick it up just a little, because with curves you need the machine to go a little faster because you're going at different speeds as the fabric changes direction, right? So you need maybe a little bit more speed. But when I'm doing this, I can listen to this and I have time to think about where I'm going. I mean, I can stop, but I have time to think. I'm not like, oh, where am I going next? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay, so right now, I'm like, oh, I can go in here, la la. Okay, I think I need a curl right now. I need a swirl. The problem that I have seen over years is people listen to the sound and they feel like they have to keep up. So they try to move really fast, and then that's when the stitches get wonky. It's surprising how long it takes for the machine to sew. It takes time. Even if it's going fast, we'll go just a little bit faster. But look, if I'm trying to get a design, I have to allow it to sew, actually. It's not going to go from here to there in 1 second. It has to take 20 or 30 stitches to get there. So you've got to let it have the time to get there. Okay? So just try something like that. Just try that wiggle and then echoing it back. The ruler foot's great with that. And that's very rhythmic, and you're listening to the sound of my machine. It's the same sound as I'm going. It's not changing to be like, here, we'll put it up high. But it can't be like, try to make it sound the same. And by controlling that speed, by using your speed control, you can do that better. You can make sure that the sound stays the same if you're pressing the gas all the way. So let's see. All right, well, you guys, I have class at 11, so I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed it. The grid size was 1 inch. And like I said, be easy on yourself. Try not to let that perfection thing limit you from doing things that you want to try. You can try a few things, try a few designs, and practice them, over the next week or two. Send me a picture. I always want to see what's going on. I'm nosy. And then, do one today, practice one today, put a date on it, and then practice it for like the next 2 weeks, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. Don't overwhelm yourself, just a few minutes. Like, have a big piece, and each time you stitch, sew for like 5 or 10 minutes with a timer so you're not, getting overwhelmed or getting tired. And then look at the beginning and look at the end 2 weeks later and see, are you feeling more comfortable? Do you feel better about the design? Does it look smoother? Has your body adapted to those motions, and do you feel better with that? So that would be just a little fun exercise, and do it in 2 different sizes. That's really important, and go forwards and backwards and side to side. Make sure that you're going in all directions, because if you have a large quilt, it's really hard to turn that, and you won't want to. So practice each direction. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day. Happy quilting. Go play. Alrighty, bye-bye.